us up on the Rumble. And good morning, hello, and welcome to This Date in History, aka TDH. This show's about what happened today throughout the annals of recorded history, starting with, what do we have here in November 16th? Let's see here, starting us off in the year 13, General Tiberius's, he was later emperor, triumphant procession through Rome after the siege of Germany. Moving on up to 534, second and final revision of the Justinian Code was published. A codified set of imperial and classical laws began initially in 528. 951, Emperor Li Jing sent a southern Tang expeditionary force of 10,000 men under Bian Hao to conquer Chu. Li Jing removed the ruling family to his own capital of Nanjing, ending the Chu kingdom. 1272, while traveling during the Ninth Crusade, Prince Edward became the King of England upon Henry III of England's death, but he would not return to England for nearly 2 years to assume the throne. 1491, an auto da fe held in the Bracero de la Dehesa outside of Avila concluded the case of the Holy Child of La Guardia, involving the kidnapping and murdering of a Christian boy, leading to the public burning at the stake of 9 Jews and other converso suspects in Avila, Spain. I believe we spoke about that yesterday, about a minor pogrom happening. 1519, the city of Havana moved to its current location to avoid mosquito infestations. Well, that's an idea. Move! Why doesn't New Orleans, or New Orleans, move? They're below sea level in a bowl right next to the ocean, and they wonder why they get flooded so often. Move! 1532, Spanish conquistador Francisco Pizarro and his men captured Inca Emperor Atahualpa after a surprise ambush at the Battle of Cajamarca in the Peruvian Andes. 1572, troops under Spanish General Fadrique Alvarez de Toledo occupied and plundered Zutphen in Netherlands. 1581, Tsar Ivan the Terrible attacked his son and heir, Ivan Ivanovich, with a scepter after an argument leading to the latter's death 3 days later. I cannot imagine getting into fisticuffs, with your own flesh and blood, especially killing your son or, inevitably causing their death. That's awful. But, he was called Ivan the Terrible for a reason. 1632, during the Battle of Lutzen, significant battle of the 30 Years' War, Swedish and Saxon forces defeated the Holy Roman Empire at the cost of the death of Swedish King Gustavus Adolphus. 1676, the first colonial prison was organized in Nantucket, Massachusetts. Ooh. Welcome back, good Sir King. How you doing today?
Good.
Good. Moving on up to 1673, English journalist John Wilkes was injured in a duel. I wonder if it was in a booth. That's pretty interesting. John Wilkes, booth,
Yeah.
So,
That's weird.
yeah. 1764, Native Americans surrendered to British in Indian War of Chief Pontiac. Not to be confused with a car. 1776, the first gun salute for an American warship in a foreign port, the U.S. Andrew Doria at Fort St. Eustis in the Dutch Caribbean island. Ooh. And while that was going on during the American Revolutionary War, British and Hessian troops captured Fort Washington in New York, marking one of the biggest losses by colonial forces. 1793, during the French Revolution, 90 dissident Roman Catholic priests were executed by drowning at Nantes. Christianity, always under the gun. 1798, Kentucky became the first state to nullify an act of Congress. And I wonder what the actual act was. Let's do a surface level scratch of this article really quick and see if we can... Oh, the Virginia resolutions. All right, maybe. The Kentucky and Virginia resolutions were political statements drafted in 1798 and 1799 in which the Kentucky and Virginia legislators took the position that the federal Alien and Sedition Acts were unconstitutional. The resolutions argued that the states had the right and the duty to declare unconstitutional those acts of Congress and the Constitution did not authorize. In doing so, they argued for states' rights and strict construction of the Constitution. The Kentucky and Virginia resolutions of 1798 were written secretly by Vice President Thomas Jefferson and James Madison, respectively. So, I'm going to add this in the underbar section here. Kentucky, what was this? Virginia Kentucky slash Virginia resolutions. All right. Moving on up to 1801, and good Sir King is a yo-yo today, apparently. First edition of New York Evening Post. All right. 1822, Missouri trader William Becknell arrived in Santa Fe, New Mexico, over a route that became known as the Santa Fe Trail. All right. 2 centuries ago, 1824, New York City's Fifth Avenue opened for business. All right. How many times am I going to say all right in this episode? 1828, during the Great War of Independence, the London Protocol entailed the creation of an autonomous Greek state under Ottoman suzerainty, encompassing the Morea and the Cyclades. And what does suzerainty mean? To some people wanting to know, where the subordinate party is called a vassal state or tributary state, the dominant party is called a suzerain. So the Ottomans had jurisdiction over them essentially. 1835, extracts from Letters to Henslow, a collection of letters written by Charles Darwin during his voyage on the Beagle, was read to the Cambridge Philosophical Society and later published as a pamphlet. 1839, would you like to take some of this? Okay. U.S. diplomat John Lloyd Stevens and British artist Frederick Catherwood first reached the ruins of the Maya city of Copan in modern Honduras. It's pretty cool. 1840.
1840, New Zealand officially becomes a British colony.
All right, nice. And it's pretty funny because sometimes they forget to put New Zealand on the map. There's a whole meme about that actually. So.
Really?
Yeah. What else do we got here?
Sounds like lazy map makers. We need to fire a bunch of 1841, life preservers made by Cork, patented by the following New York City.
All right.
1849, Russian court sentenced Fyodor Dostoevsky, Russian, to death for anti-government activity linked to radical intellectual.
All right.
His sentence is later commuted to hard labor.
Ah, well, I guess he got off easy with that. Cause he was sentenced. Yeah, he was sentenced to death. So, yikes. 1855. Here, off of main source, David Livingstone became the first European to see the Victoria Falls in what is now Zambia, Zimbabwe. And right here on our thumbnail, that's Victoria Falls. Beautiful waterfall there. Very interesting piece of geography. How this is set up. You can't really see it that well, but the falls go right into this thing, but then it's just cliffs directly on the other side. So it's a very strange piece of geology right there. 1856, Amsterdam post office at Nieuwege's Voorburgal opened. All right. 1857, during the second relief of Lucknow, 24 Victoria Crosses were awarded, becoming the most in a single day. Wow, that's a lot. And Victoria Crosses, they ain't a joke. That's some serious notoriety there. 1871, the National Rifle Association received its first charter in the state of New York. That's interesting. How things flip flop. New York actually used to be a decent place, as was California. Back in the day. But what do we got in 1875?
1875, William Bonwell patents dental mallet to impact gold
into cavities. That sounds painful. Can you imagine somebody literally hammering a chunk of gold into a hole in your tooth? Sounds horrifying right there.
Dental mallet.
Yeah, yikes. What else do we got?
1882, British gunboat HMS Flirt fires at and destroys villages of Abari and Asaba on the Caddo River in Niger in retaliation for attack on British-owned factory that left 5 Brits missing.
Yikes.
Holy
Retribution.
shit. Wow, man.
Got off a main source here in 1885, Canadian rebel leader of the Metis and Dather of Manitoba, Louis Riel, was executed for treason. Wow. Yeah, it's telling me to look this up, but for the sake of time, I'm going to challenge our viewers to let us know anything that they find about him in the comments section. Get some interactivity, going and such. What do we got here in 1894?
1894, French captain Henry de Gaulle's troops reach Niki, West Africa. Also, in 1894, 6,000 Armenians massacred by Turks in Kurdistan.
I wonder if that was part of the Armenian genocide. I don't know the exact date of when it happened, but I know it happened at some point. Pardon me. Moving on up into... Sorry? Moving on up into the next century, what do we have?
1901, 3 autos race on Ocean Parkway, Brooklyn. Fastest speed achieved by Henry Forner, who drives a mile in 51 and 4/5 seconds.
So he's going slightly over 60 miles an hour. Like, if you're going at 60 miles an hour, you're doing a mile a minute.
Yeah.
Another off a main source here, 1904, English engineer John Ambrose Fleming received a patent for the thermonic valve, the vacuum tube. That's pretty cool. I think we have that. Is it on here? No, it's not. So, but 1907, Indian Territory and Oklahoma Territory joined to form Oklahoma, which was then admitted as a 46 U.S. state. A state so flat you can watch your dog run away for a week. So, 1909, Dutch football club FC Eindhoven was founded in southern part of the city. KNVB Cup 1937, Intervise 1954. I'm wondering if those are the same teams or others that formed in that same area. So, once again, if anybody wants to do the footwork and let us know a little bit more about this, what this means over here, that'd be great. What do we got? Oh, here we go. This is actually, I have more meat on this article. But I kind of wanted you to read this. So I'll let you read this and then I'll add to it.
14 Federal Reserve System formally opens.
Yeah, thank you, Woodrow Wilson.
The actual worst president of all time. Mm-hmm. I'm tired of everybody saying it's Biden or some other fucking jokester.
Brandon is bad, like Obama
was
bad. But this guy opened the floodgates to allow these people to be bad. You got to look at the source. And this guy, Woodrow Wilson, may rot in hell in a lower depth than frickin' Thomas Alva Edison. So, moving on up, what else do we have in 1914? Whoa, what was that?
Whoa, what happened? I do.
You started a video of Naruto.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's alright.
Shit.
I forgot to mute your stream there, so... But 1914 here, Pope Benedict XV called for peace. And this is slightly after the outbreak of the First World War and all that stuff. So, of course. 1916, Russian La Santanya ammunition factory exploded, killing 1,000. Yeah, well, that would happen if an ammunition factory... 1918, the Hungarian People's Republic was declared. All right. 1919, Admiral Miklos Horthy, head of the Hungarian National Army, seized Budapest and will later become regent of the restored Kingdom of Hungary. All right. What do we got here in 1920?
1920, first postage stamp meter is set in Stamford, Connecticut.
So it is Connecticut. Just making sure. So, another 1920 here.
Another 1920, Australia. Qantas Airway founded in Winton, Queensland, as Queensland and Northern Territory Aerial Services Limited.
All right, so an aircraft thing, pretty cool. This one I find really hilarious.
1922, Ottoman Caliph Sultan Mehmed the Sixth asked the British Army for help.
They were the bad guys just 4 years prior. That's pretty interesting. 1922, Pope Pius XI called on Belgian people to unite. Yes, I agree. 24, the Cleveland Bulldogs lost 12-7 to Frankfurt Yellow Jackets at Dunn Field, ended a 31-game undefeated streak, NFL and Major League Football record, and I wonder if that record still stands. Once again, they giving a challenge to our viewers if they want to look that up and let us know in the comments section, and as well as all other viewers. 25, American Association for Advancement of Atheism formed in New York. Well, of course it did in New York. Here we go, New York doing something more fitting for today's times. 1926, the New York Rangers Ice Hockey Club first game defeated Montreal Maroons 1-0 at Madison Square Garden, New York City. And we are being joined by the legendary
Golden Loon.
Welcome to the show. How you doing today?
I'm doing great.
Nice.
How are you doing?
Doing all right. Still have a little bit of a headache, but
I'm not surprised.
yeah, I got it.
Self-inflicted.
Yeah. Oh, there you go on camera. Get that pretty face on there. Ah! So, moving on up, what else do we got here? 1933, Brazilian President Getúlio Vargas declared himself dictator. Yikes.
That's never good.
No, it's not.
Apparently he had the guns on his side.
Well, that's the only way you can do it. 33 as well, Swiss physicist Fritz Zwicky published the first evidence for the existence of dark matter in his seminal article, The Redshift of Extragalactic Nebulae. That's really big. The existence of dark matter.
Yeah.
So,
some of these names are something else.
Oh, yeah. Oh, we've gone through some crazy stuff already with these names.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah. 1933 as well, United States President Franklin D. Roosevelt established diplomatic relations with the USSR, Soviet Union via Joseph Stalin.
Yeah.
That's a bad move, but what do you expect from a freaking, Democrat,
Roosevelt.
Yeah. Well, at least he's not as bad as Woodrow Wilson. We were just going off on him. Yeah, it's just you missed it. But 1914 was the establishment of the Federal Reserve. Well, not the Federal. Well, the Federal Reserve. Yeah.
Sounds about the right time.
Yeah. So, 36. The German Luftwaffe Air Force began the bombing of Madrid, practicing for the upcoming World War II while aiding fascist Francisco Franco in the Spanish Civil War. Despite Spain being neutral during the continuation of World War I, they worked with the Nazis hand in hand, akin to how neutral United States worked with Britain and the Allies.
Yeah.
So, but that's why the Luftwaffe was so kick-ass, in World War II, is because they had practice, bombing helping the fascists during the Civil War in Spain. So, 1937. Let's see. I've got to scroll on. What do we got here?
1937, several members of the Hesse Darmstadt royal family died in a plane crash in Belgium while en route to a family wedding in England.
Ooh.
Mother and brother of the groom among the dead as aircraft crippled a tall factory chimney.
Clipped. So they hit it in flight and then so yikes. On their way to a wedding. Man, that sucks.
And
yeah.
Wow. 1938 KB Regiment refuses roundtable conference in India, East India.
Yeah. I wonder why. I wonder what's going on with that. I'm just gonna, look, do a surface level scratch on that article.
It seems like a blurb or something that should be have a little bit more context to it.
Yeah, it says here the three roundtable conferences between 1930 and 32 were a series of peace conferences organized by the British government and Indian political personalities to discuss constitutional reforms in India. They started in November of 1930 and ended in December of 32. They were conducted as per the recommendation of Muhammad Ali Jinnah to Viceroy Lord Irwin and Prime Minister Ramsay MacDonald, and by the report submitted by the Simon Commission in May of 1930. Demands for Swaraj or self-rule in India had been growing increasingly strong. B.R. Ambedkar Jinnah, Sir Tej Bahadur Sapru, V.S. Srinivasan Sastry, Sir Muhammad Zafar Khan, K.T. Paul, and Mirabin were key participants from India. By the 1930s, many British politicians believed that India needed to move towards dominion status. However, there were significant disagreements between the Indian and British political parties that the conferences would not resolve. The key topic was about constitution in India, which was mainly discussed in that conference. There were 3 roundtable conferences. We already covered all that. So that's really towards Indian sovereignty.
Yeah.
So Indian sovereignty, if I spelled that correctly, probably didn't, but
Step
whatever.
towards it anyways.
Yeah, Indian sovereignty, progression, I guess.
Our buddy RNG should do.
Oh, RNG's here? Is he on, oh, there he is. Hey, how you doing, man? Killer J, another streamer. So,
All right.
yeah. What do we got here in 1938 as well?
LSD. I've never actually read this out loud.
Yeah.
So LSD stands for lysergic acid dithylamide.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah, I've never actually
Read the scientific term.
Yeah.
read the scientific term for LSD. It is first synthesized by Swiss chemist Dr. Albert Hoffmann at the Sandoz Laboratory in Basel, Switzerland.
Yeah. I
And-
didn't realize it went back quite that far, but yeah.
Oh, yeah. But let's see here.
Yeah, that's-
Disney movie LSD.
It's quite far back.
And I want to showcase this here. Disney, as Disney does, they put in like a little thing in a children's movie.
Of course, that stands for LSD, right?
Yeah, well, no, it's the chemical build. They put it on the side, so they have a subliminal LSD chemical structure as a bookshelf in a children's animated movie.
Wow.
They're it's subliminal stuff. Disney is evil.
Well, I'll give you a personal note on LSD. A good friend of mine in high school, he had an older brother, went to a prominent university here locally, and he volunteered to test some kind of drug. Didn't know what it was.
It sounds
Ended
like
up to be LSD.
Uh,
And he ended up driving his car through a house
Oh, jeez.
and killed himself.
It sounds like he was a victim of MK Ultra, because that's about the right time, right in the 60s.
Early 60s.
Yeah, that's about the right
early
time.
60s,
So
yeah.
I think he was a victim of MK Ultra.
I don't know. I've never
Fairly-
heard of that.
Well, let me look this up
I mean,
here.
he volunteered, but
What
you need a little
was-
more information.
I'm just gonna do a quick thing. MK Ultra was a human experimentation program designed and undertaken by the U.S. Central Intelligence Agency, CIA, to develop procedures and identify drugs that could be used during interrogations to weaken individuals and force confessions through brainwashing and psychological torture. The term MK Ultra is a CIA cryptonym. MK is an arbitrary prefix standing for the Office of Technical Service, and Ultra is an arbitrary word out of a dictionary to denominate its project. So it was an awful, awful thing. It basically...
It's
was
really something you should.
I think they were trying to
Like-
just find a reaction to this chemical, and you see what it did
Well,
to different people.
It was beyond just that chemical. Like,
Yeah.
there's a lot more to it than just that beginning paragraph.
Yeah.
It's,
Okay.
Yeah, let's move on up
Yeah.
here. 1939, what do we got here?
They definitely look into it. Just
Yes.
playing documentaries. I live in Dickerman and you sit down with your dad and
Yeah,
watch them.
yeah.
But moving on over
Yeah.
here. Where are we at?
39.
1939, Al Capone freed from the Alcatraz jail.
Yeah, and I think he was the first prisoner in Alcatraz, like, ever.
I have no idea about that, but yeah,
I think so.
could have been.
I swear we looked that up the other day. But anyway, moving on up. 1940, during World War II, in response to Germany's leveling of Coventry, England, 2 days before by the German Luftwaffe, the Royal Air Force bombed Hamburg. Yeah, well, it's war. So.
Yeah.
40 as well, during the Holocaust in occupied Poland, the Nazis closed off the Warsaw Ghetto from the outside world. Yeah. And actually, I'm not sure if because it's really painful, but, in the movie, in the series Band of Brothers, there's this one scene where they relieved a concentration camp. And, oh man, it's powerful.
Oh.
Very powerful. 1940 as well, New York City's mad bomber George Metsky placed his first bomb at a Manhattan office building used by Consolidated Edison. And in 1941 here, this is weird, German troops conquered Kerch, probably. What do you mean probably? What do you mean probably?
Did you add that?
No, it's right there.
I know, but I don't know if you typed it in earlier.
No, well, yeah, I just copy paste, but no, this is from the website.
I got it.
Probably. What the hell? 1943, during World War II, U.S. bombers struck a hydroelectric power facility and a heavy water factory in German-controlled Wehrmacht, Norway. I wonder if that was part of the Dam Busters operations, but in the very least, that heavy water thing, that was Germany trying to make a nuclear bomb.
Yeah, that's the process.
Yep. So, and that, that set them back. And if they hadn't destroyed that facility, there would have been a chance that Germany might have had an atom bomb. And the only, saving grace we had, as they said in Oppenheimer, was Hitler viewed, that science as Jewish science, so he didn't, respect it. So, yeah. What do we got here in 45?
1945, founding of the UNESCO, the United Nations Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organization.
All right. We have another 45 here, right there.
Memorandum signed by Harry Truman, Clement Attlee, and Mackenzie King to continue atomic energy cooperation.
All right. And pardon me if you hear the street sweeper in the background. They're already going away, so that's good.
It's a clean sweep.
45 as well. 2 new elements were discovered by Glenn Seaborg, James Morgan, and Albert Gorioso were announced. Americium, that's a funny name, atomic number 95, and curium, atomic number 96. So some more discovery of elements. We spoke about, an element yesterday for Nobel Prize.
Yeah.
45 as well, Yeshiva College, a university chartered in New York, becoming the first U.S. Jewish college.
Oh.
All right. Pretty cool. What do we got in 47?
1947, 15,000 demonstrate in Brussels against mild sentence of Nazis.
Oh, not stiff enough, huh?
Yeah. So
don't blame them for that.
In Brussels. Well,
yeah.
Okay. 1950.
1950, Egyptian king Farouk demands departure of all British troops.
Yeah. And I remember we talked about Britain finally getting out of Egypt or something. But then we got another one here. We've spoken about this before, too.
And gets U.S. government approval to issue postage stamps.
Yeah, we talked about when the UN made their first postage stamp. So this is when they got the green light to make them. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Un mas, 1950.
U.S. President Henry Truman proclaims emergency crisis caused. Communist threat.
Yeah. I mean, that's very true. 1957, U.S. murderer and body snatcher Ed Gein killed his last victim. Never heard of this guy?
No.
But, yeah.
Gaines,
Yeah. Well, it's history, gotta remember these things.
I got it.
Not trying to tote his name around, but yeah. 57 as well, BBC's first pop music show, the 6-5 Special, was broadcasted from the Tiny Two Eyes coffee bar in London. Okay.
Tiny Two Eyes?
Tiny Two Eyes. That's what it is. So that's weird. 57 as well. Boston Celtics center Bill Russell set NBA record of 49 rebounds as Boston beat Philadelphia Warriors 111-89 at Boston Gardens. 49 rebounds. Good Lord.
49 rebounds?
49 rebounds.
That's unheard of. I had no idea he did that. I mean, he's one of the all-time greats.
Well, this is probably why.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
49 rebounds.
Wow.
I'm not even I'm not a sports guy,
That's
but
right
I'm
there
just
with
like,
Will Chamberlain's 100-point game.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right up there with, yep.
57 as well. University of Oklahoma football NCAA win streak ended at 47 after losing 7-0 to Notre Dame at Oklahoma Memorial Stadium. Wow. So not only did they lose, but they lost at home and they ended a streak. What a heartbreak right there.
And to Notre Dame.
Yeah. 1959, The Sound of Music by Richard Rodgers and Oscar Hammerstein II opened at the Lunt-Fontaine Theater in New York City, running for 1,443 performances. And I believe that's the thing that turned into a movie. You know, they made a movie out of that.
The hills are alive.
Yeah, it became Ronald Reagan's favorite movie, according to the 2024 movie that we saw. Yeah, well,
I forgot that.
Well, no, remember when they were filling his head with numbers, and they were like, "Okay, take a break. What's your favorite movie? Sit there and watch that. We'll come back tomorrow." That's one of the scenes in the movie.
Wow, that I don't remember it, but yeah. If I saw it, I'd remember it. But yeah, there's so much stuff that.
Yeah.
Was in that movie, packed.
Yep. What else do we got here in 59? They switched this.
1959, Boston's visiting executive Billy Sullivan is awarded 8th and final franchise of Developing American Football League, AFL, later branded Boston Patriots.
Ah, are those the same New England Patriots? That's a football league.
Yeah.
So.
Well, AFL.
American Football League merged into the NFL eventually.
Yeah.
We covered that the other day when the legislation was signed or whatever.
I thought it started in the 60s, but apparently it started
it become
in
the
59.
AFC and NFC.
The AFL was already around before 59 because this is another the 8th and final franchise to this guy himself.
Yeah, but they were forming it then, I think. It could have been 58, but it couldn't be much earlier than that.
When was AFL formed? Football. Let's see here. It says here 60.
That sounds about right to me. But
so maybe this was forming. Okay, now I understand.
They not necessarily had started the league yet, but they were forming it.
Now I understand. Okay, yeah. What else do we got here in 60?
Smart Souls escort 4 6-year-old African American girls to previously all-white public schools in New Orleans in response to death threats against the girls and race riots.
Wow. Absolutely wow. Just abysmal. I mean, like, Shirley Temple was getting death threats for doing something with Bojangles, and she was pen pals with what's-his-face, and he gave her, he was like the first head of the CIA or whatever the heck he was, and he gave her a tear gas pen.
Yeah.
A little girl. It's ridiculous. So, moving on up, what else do we got?
1961, U.S. President JFK decides to increase military aid to South Vietnam without committing to U.S. combat troops.
All right. And I just saw this, and, we're not going to read this, but I just, highlighting it for the viewers to see, we need this energy back. So,
yeah.
Moving on up to 1962, Kuwait adopted a constitution. It was their first, and it was Islamitic. Well, of course, it's Kuwait. So, 62 as well, San Francisco Warriors center Wilt Chamberlain scored 73 points in a 127-111 win over New York Knicks at Madison Square Garden. Yeah.
He one season averaged 50 points a game.
That's ridiculous. 63, Toledo, Ohio newspaper strike began. Oh, Toledo. The holy Toledo, Well,
yeah.
65, during the Venera program, the Soviet Union launched Venera 3 space probe toward Venus, which will become the first spacecraft to reach the surface of another planet. Unintentionally, I think, because it crashed. It crashed into Venus. Or maybe it was just a hard landing. Maybe it was intentional to hit Venus. I'm not sure. So, anyway, would you mind sharing your screen again? It helps me with my UI, please. Or
I don't know what happened.
Oh, okay. It just naturally popped out. 1965 as well. What do we got? You're doing something. So, Walt Disney launched Epcot Center, experimental prototype community of tomorrow. and it promptly failed miserably because Disney is awful. 66, Dr. Sam Shepard was freed by a jury after 9 years in jail.
Ah.
I wonder what he did.
Wasn't that the guy that they accused him of killing his wife? Didn't they make the movie about him?
Probably. Let's just see. Sam Shepard. Let's see here. Let's see. Murder of his pregnant wife. Yeah, he was convicted in 54. So, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, they made a movie of that. What's that? The Fugitive.
Oh, okay. 67 here, off of main source. Aeroflot Flight 2230 crashed near Kosovo Airport, killing 107 people. 1968, I like this. You want to take it? I can't hear you. Oh, there we go. Sorry, go ahead.
The Derry Citizens Action Committee defies a ban on march in Derry, Northern Ireland, by marching with an estimated 15,000 people.
Yeah, this is during the Troubles. I mean, like Britain is trying to oppress the Irish so hard. Even to this day, they're still trying. It's absolutely abysmal. What else do we got?
1968.
Yeah.
My La Massacre of between 347 and 504 unarmed South Vietnamese civilians by U.S. soldiers is first reported.
Yeah. That's why it was a little confusing at first, because this occurred in 1968, but this is when it first was reported.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're in the Vietnam War.
Yeah, and atrocities such as this are still going on today, especially the Middle East. 1969, Richard Tricky Dick Nixon became the first United States president to attend a season NFL game while in office. The Dallas Cowboys beat the Washington Redskins 41-28. That's an interesting match. Cowboys versus Indians. Yeah.
I'm not a crook.
I am not a crook. 1970, South Vietnamese Vice President Nguyen Cao Ky defended operations in Cambodia because communist forces could overrun South Vietnam, quote, within 24 hours, end quote, if troops operating there were withdrawn. Yeah.
The domino effect.
Yeah. 71, what do we got here?
1971, the Compton Inquiry is published, acknowledging that there was ill treatment of internees, but rejected claims of systematic brutality or torture in Northern Ireland.
Yep. More crap against the Irish, So. 72.
Elektra Records released No Secrets, the third studio album by American singer-songwriter Carly Simon. Her commercial breakthrough spends 5 weeks on top of the U.S. charts and contains the hits single You're So Vain, which we all know is
about you, about me,
about
all of us.
I wonder if Elektra Records.
Don Knotts.
They had to be either.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Go ahead. No.
Well, what King was saying. Go ahead.
About Don Knotts.
Yeah, the song "You're So Vain."
Yeah.
It's about Don Knotts. Apparently.
Really, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Now, what were you saying?
I
Family
just
Guy
wondered
joke.
if Elektra Records was still around independently, or if it got merged, or.
I don't know.
Yeah.
That's a question for
And the
audience.
right thing to do.
Yeah. Moving on up to 1973, U.S. President Richard Nixon signed the Trans-Alaska Pipeline Authorization Act into law, allowing construction of the Alaskan Pipeline. That's a pretty big one right there.
Yeah, that's huge.
And off of main source here, in 1973, during the Skylab program, NASA launched Skylab 4 with a crew of 3 astronauts from Cape Canaveral, Florida, for an 84-day mission. One of our older space stations, Skylab. 74, the first international interstellar radio message was sent from Arecibo Observatory's radio telescope in Puerto Rico towards M13, a cluster of stars some 25,000 light years away.
Yeah.
So it's just radio signal. And, I fear the day that we get a response, because it might not be a nice one. So, hey, look, meat. So, what else do we got here in 74? Oh wait, we got that one. This one here.
1974, ABBA departs Sweden for their first tour of Europe, but their first tour outside of their home country.
All right. That could have been worded better, but yeah.
Yeah, that.
Yeah. Well, we got another 74 here.
Don't put it on the screen. He'll just read it.
What? Oh.
Come on, don't put it on. Don't put it on the prompter. He'll read it.
Oh yeah.
1974 NBA Milwaukee Bucks lose their team record 11 straight games.
Falling.
Falling.
Yeah, they typoed.
Falling 92 and 89. The visiting Cleveland Cavaliers.
God, 2 typos in one
Yeah.
sentence. They're slipping here. Oh. And we got some basketball stuff here.
1976, Rick Barry, San Francisco ends the longest NBA free throw streak of 60.
Used to, obviously a great free throw shooter.
Mm-hmm.
He shot him underhand.
Oh, granny style.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, as, you were saying, like, if Shaq had done that, with his free throws, he would have been a lot better.
Well,
Like-
this guy, Rick Barry, offered to teach him how to do it underhand. He said, absolutely, he'll be an 80% free throw shooter. Shaq wouldn't do it, so who knows what would have happened.
Yeah. 1978.
He laughed at it.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not going to be a baby, shoot underhand,
Yeah, man, you can't be doing that in the NBA, man.
You can't cry in baseball.
There's no crying in baseball.
Yeah, unless you're doing, an alley-oop,
Yeah.
Yeah.
then you get overhand.
Yeah. 1978, Major Indoor Soccer League held its first draft, and we were talking about them being formed the other day.
Yeah.
79, Paul McCartney released Wonderful Christmas. That's a good song. So, 79, off a main source, the first line of the Bucharest Metro, line M1, was opened from Timpuri Noi to Semenatoria in Bucharest, Romania. All right. 81, Dennis Lee kicked Javed Miandadad after he had waved his bat at Dennis. So, like,
Kicked
physically kicked him, like,
I guess so.
waved his bat, threateningly or something. I'm not sure. 81 as well. President Reagan decided on a covert plan to block the Cuban aid to Nicaragua and El Salvador.
Yeah.
What do we got here in 50? In 82, 50.
1982, fifth NASA Space Shuttle mission, Columbia lands at Edwards Air Force Base after 5 days in space, completing its first operation.
Awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Pretty cool. So the Columbia,
Yeah.
it ended in a tragedy, unfortunately.
No, unfortunately,
but,
yeah, you're not kidding.
Yeah. 1984. Where are we? Houston. Here it is.
1984, Houston's blocked 20 Denver shots by NBA regulation game record.
I wonder if that record still stands. Oh,
That's a
speaking
lot
of-
of block shots.
yeah.
Yeah.
1984, Imran Khan made his first appearance for New South Wales cricket.
Cricket.
This guy, Imran Khan, he was a cricketer, and he later became the Prime Minister of Pakistan. What a career change.
Don't con me now.
84 as well, John Lennon's Every Man Has a Woman Who Loves Him, released posthumously. That's really ironic. Considering that, there's a great deal of chance that, the screeching chihuahua is the one who put the hit out on him to begin with. So, 1985, yeah, well, I mean, she was a monster. She wouldn't even give John Lennon's stuff back to their son, and he had to buy him back through auction. Yoko Ono is an evil creature. So, what do we got here in 85? This was covered in the movie as well.
1985, President Reagan arrived at Geneva for a summit with Soviet leader Mikhail Gorbachev.
Tear down this wall. '88. Trying to find it. Where are we? Where is it? Like it's okay. Well, let's see here. The Supreme Soviet of the Estonian Soviet Socialist Republic declared that Estonia was, quote, sovereign, end quote, in internal affairs, but stopped short of declaring independence. So they're still part of that thing. Here we go. Yeah, so that's why I couldn't find it. It was a snippet here on the main source. Back to you, Sir King.
Jose Canseco is the first unanimous AL MVP since Reggie Jackson.
Man, talk about two big names, Jose Canseco and Reggie Jackson, man.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yep. 88 as well, and I have some more meat on this article. In the first open election in over a decade, specifically 11 years, voters in Pakistan elected populist Triple P candidate Benazir Bhutto to be Prime Minister of Pakistan.
I believe she was assassinated, wasn't she?
Probably. Let me look that up. But that's pretty big. A Islamic country voting a woman in.
It's huge.
And she was
Yeah.
So, well, that makes sense.
I think before she took office, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh wow. Well, there's nothing much in her biography. That needs building there. So get to work on this day.com. Let's see here. 1988. What else do we have?
1980, President Reagan and the First Lady participate in the official state arrival ceremony, meetings, and state dinner with Margaret Thatcher.
Yeah. I would have omitted that, from the show, but like on that same exact date, same year, we also have this.
1988, President Reagan meets with Jerusalem's mayor, Teddy Kollek.
Busy day for Reagan.
No kidding.
Yeah. 88 as well, Robin Givens sued Mike Tyson for $125 million for libel. And what is libel, you may ask? Well, let's look that up here really quick. One of these fancy words that's not really thrown around.
I don't remember what that was about. I remember the situation, but I can't remember.
Well, maybe the definition will help your memory. A libel is a published false statement that is damaging to a person's reputation. A written defamation, compare with slander. So basically saying something, shit talking.
Yeah.
With no substance. But 125 million, that's a bit excessive. So. 1989, 6 Jesuit priests, including Ignacio Ilucaria and 2 others, were assassinated by Salvadorian army at Jose Simeon Canías University, becoming one of the most notorious acts of the Salvadorian Civil War. Yikes. 89 as well, UNESCO adopted the Seville Statement on Violence at the 25th session of its General Conference, stating, quote, "We are not condemned to war and violence because of our biology," end quote. Well, I disagree. Human nature is naturally violent, and nature itself is eat or be eaten. Like, whenever people start complaining, oh, life is unfair, it's like, yeah, you want to talk about unfair. There's a video out there of a gazelle, just gave birth, to a fawn out in the Serengeti. And before the fawn could even open its eyes, a freaking jaguar or something pounced on it and started eating it.
Yeah.
That's nature. So, quit your crying. What do we got here in 1990?
Former Panamanian dictator Manuel Noriega claims the U.S. denied him a fair trial.
Oh, boo-hoo! We gave a dictator an unfair trial. Well, how many people did you not even give a trial to, you sack of crap?
Yeah.
Noriega was not a good guy.
No. Off of main source here, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Nothing.
Okay.
Nothing.
Off of main source here, 1990, pop group Milli Vanilli were stripped of their Grammy Award due to not singing whatsoever on the Fearless You Know It's True album. Session musicians had provided all the vocals.
They lip sync.
Yeah. What was that female artist who lip synced?
Yeah, Jessica Simpson's sister.
Simpson. Something Simpson. I don't know.
Yeah.
So
it was hilarious. She ran off stage.
Hold on a second. Family Guy did a thing on that. Let's see. Family Guy lip sync. Let's see if I can
Milli
find it.
Vanilli, yeah.
Oh yeah, here it is. This is hilarious. So.
Yeah, that's one.
Yeah, let me bigger
That's
this
her.
here. So.
Ashley Simpson.
Ashley Simpson. Hold on a second.
Old Man River, that old man river, he must know someday.
I probably broke a copyright thing with that, but well, you know, whatever. That's hilarious. Another often-made source here in '92, the Hoxne hoard was discovered by metal detectorist Eric Laws in Hoxne, Suffolk. I remember this, so let me look this up here really quick. The Hoxne hoard, and it indeed was a hoard. Look at this. Like, look at all those gold and jewelry and all that stuff. You know, just some guy out there with a metal detector, and they found this.
Wow.
You know, that's a find right there.
Yeah,
You know?
I would say so.
Yeah.
A find.
You said it like I do. Yeah. What else do we got in '93? Perfect.
Russian President Boris Yeltsin shuts Lenin Museum.
All right. And '97, People's, here it is.
People's Republic of China releases pro-democracy dissident Wei Jinxing from jail for medical reasons after nearly 18 years incarceration.
Wow. 18 years in jail just for having a different political opinion. You know, not smoking weed, not killing somebody, not doing actual real crime, just from having a different opinion.
Yep.
And people celebrate China. Sick.
That's the
Sick.
direction this country's tried to go in here lately,
Yeah,
so hopefully it doesn't.
Yeah, well, you know, this past election, things are turning around, I hope. So,
One can hope.
yeah. What do we got here? This one's trashy.
1998, Monica Lewinsky signs a deal for the North American rights to a book about her affair with the U.S. Why are we reading this? Presidential Clinton.
Just to showcase how trashy she is. Just like, you know, it's not enough that she did what she did and caused all of the insanity.
Oh, come on. She didn't cause anything.
Oh, yeah, she did.
He's the guy in authority. He's responsible.
He did put a gun to her mouth, you know? So
He is responsible. Sorry.
so is she. It takes two to tango.
Yeah.
So,
But the one in power is responsible.
Yeah, he's more responsible.
yeah, definitely, but, you know. Anyway, what else do we got here involving this guy?
2000, Bill Clinton becomes the first U.S. president to visit Vietnam since the end of the Vietnam War.
All right. Pretty cool.
Did you know back in the day they called him the first black president? Yeah, no.
Yeah, no, I've heard of that.
Yeah.
Like, I forgot why. Is it because of the saxophone thing, or?
No, because he
Well,
they felt
it
he
was that, and he was just this cool dude.
Yeah, they felt that he was the first to give the black community a hand up.
Yeah.
Implying
He did
that
do
they
a lot
can't
for
work
the
on
black
themselves. No, that's kind of, you know, not equal right there. But anyway, what else do we have here?
2001, Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, first film adaptation of the book series by J.K. Rowling and Daniel Radcliffe. Starring Daniel. Premieres in U.S. Titled Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone.
In some markets, some like, I don't know why. There was some reason, because of some like religious or something. Like they don't like sorcerer or something. You know, some culture thing. I don't know. I knew of the reason there, but anyway, moving on up to 2002, Iraqi President Saddam Hussein stated that he had to accept UN Resolution 1441 due to the United States and Israel showing their, quote, claws and teeth, end quote, and declared unilateral war on the Iraqi people. Yikes. That guy
they
was a
went to
nut
war,
job.
For a number of years in an absolute stalemate.
2002 as well, the first case of SARS was recorded in Foshan City, Guangdong Province in China. Though it is not identified until much later, first patient was thought to be a farmer in the city. That sounds very familiar.
Yeah.
You know? Kung Flu. Everybody was Kung Flu fighting! So, what do we got here in 2003?
2003, 16-year-old Lionel Messi marks his official debut in FC Barcelona when he comes on as a substitution in a friendly against Porta.
So like a friendly skirmish, like practice or something. Just popped in. And he later became one of the greatest. He was a football star, Lionel Messi. And there's off of main source one here, but I'm going to DM it to you because I really want you to read it. So where are you? There you go. Yeah, those are all his AI things he's working on. It's awesome.
Cool.
Yeah.
2004, Half-Life 2 was released. Went on to win 39 Game of the Year awards and being cited as one of the best games ever made.
Yes.
Still is to this day.
Yes. And a lot of people are still to this day. When's Half-Life 3? Half-Life 3. There will never be a Half-Life 3 because 2 halves equal 1 whole. So, another off of main source.
Let things end.
Yeah.
I'm tired of fucking. I'm tired of MMOs, and I'm tired of just live service in general.
Yeah.
Let things end.
Yeah. Oh.
Things die.
2005, another off of main source here. Following a 31-year wait, Australia defeated Uruguay in a penalty shootout to qualify to the 2006 FIFA World Cup.
Oh, geez.
All right.
Came down to the wire.
Yeah. And moving on up to 2012, Call of Duty Black Ops 2 grossed $500 million in a 24-hour period to become the biggest entertainment launch of all time.
Jeez.
Wow. Oh.
It's one of the greatest shooters.
Yeah.
That was that was the era, bro, for first-person shooters.
Oh yeah. 2015 as well, French President Francois Hollande declared the country at war with ISIS in an address to Parliament. Yeah. And then we also have the largest diamond discovered in over a century, a 1,111 carat stone found in the Karwari mine in Botswana. Let's see if I can find an image of this stone here. Images. Let's see. Ooh, that's pretty big.
Wow.
Good lord.
Yeah.
That is massive. Look at the size of that thing.
Yeah.
Huge.
I wonder if they ever cut it down.
I saw a picture. Well, it looks like it.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
There.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
you see, you can't,
they all
nothing
cut
to
it up.
dimension it, the size.
Yeah. Oh.
You need a hand in there or something.
Well, I mean, how big are the hands?
Yeah.
I mean, this is clearly a woman's hand. Maybe I don't know anymore these days, but yeah, that's clearly a guy's hand. I see no boobs. Well, then again, I don't know anymore either. Everything's freaking on its head.
No,
it's
no,
big.
That shows the size of the of the diamond found.
Yeah.
I was wondering how big it was when it was finally cut.
Well, sizable.
Yeah.
So yeah. 2017. What do we have here?
19 countries pledged to phase out coal at UN Climate Summit in Bonn, Germany.
Meanwhile, China's opening up a new coal plant every week.
Yeah.
And then Greta Thunberg's getting on our ass about things like, no, go to China and India. The real causers of the problems. What else do we got here?
2017, Cambodian court rules to dissolve the country's main opposition party, Cambodian National Rescue Party, CNRP.
That's not good. And we got 2018.
2018, CIA concludes Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman ordered the killing of journalist Jamal Khashoggi.
Yeah, I think we had talked about this before as well.
Yeah.
2018, an elevator fell down 84 floors when the hoist rope broke. All 6 people survived unharmed at the John Hancock Center in Chicago. Wow.
How do you survive that?
Lucky.
No kidding.
It's it's rumored, and I'm not giving any advice, but it's just rumored that if you somehow know before it hits the ground, if you jump or something and then you land on something that you can you can break without too much pain to your central system. If you just break a couple of legs, then you'll survive.
Yeah.
There are ways to do it. Let's just hope that you don't have to use them. 2018, the kilogram was refined by abstract constants, replacing the Lagrange K along with the ampere electrical current and Kelvin temperature at a conference in Paris. All right. Remember when there, that article we had about they said that the distance of like a centimeter is like the amount of distance light travels, within this prime, some crazy, unit of measurement thing. 2019, the 500th anniversary of the founding of Havana, Cuba. All right. 2019 as well, Britain's Prince Andrew refuted claims he had relations with a 17-year-old connected to relation offender and friend Jeffrey Epstein in BBC interview. Obviously, of course, he's on the list. So, allegedly. Can't say anything for certain, but come on, use your brain and think. 2019 as well, Samoa declared a state of emergency over a measles epidemic, closing all schools after 6 deaths. It's kind of like a Madagascar response in pandemic. What do we got here in 2020?
Give me a moment.
Okay. Peru's Congress voted in its 3rd interim president in a week, Francisco Sagasti, after violent protests. Wow.
In a week?
Yikes.
That's some real turmoil. In
That's
that country.
yeah. 2021, astronauts on board the International Space Station were forced to take shelter as Russian weapons tests created a 1,500 debris field. 1,500 what debris field? But still, hold on to your butts and hope you don't get hit. That's scary. We also have Frida Kahlo's self-portrait Diego y Yo, 1949, sold for $34.9 million, a record price for a Latin American work at auction. Wow. You know what? Let's look this up here. Florida self-portraits. Let's see. Oh, what the hell? That is weird. She painted face on her face with a third eye. That's an intriguing work of art right there. And it looks like her hair is trying to strangle her. What's going on?
Her hair?
Yeah. Did you see that? She has a face on her face,
Yeah, I
and
got
her
that.
face has a third eye.
Yeah.
And her hair is wrapping around her neck right there. Do you see that?
What makes you think that's hair?
Well, I mean,
She has black hair. That's not black.
right here,
Yeah.
the black strands going across her neck. You don't see
Hard to
that.
see. Well, I don't know. Yeah, I guess
Well,
so. Yeah, I guess so.
It doesn't look like wrinkles.
Yeah.
So, 2021 as well. Ganyo So confirmed as China's first F1 driver racing for Alfa Romeo in 2022. Cool.
Yeah.
2021 men's roller derby team settled a dispute with MLB baseball team, allowing both to use the Cleveland Guardians name. That's confusing.
I had no idea roller derby is still around in 21. I guess it's still around today then, huh?
Well, I mean, I don't see why not.
I remember when I was a kid, it was on TV, and the announcer was called Dick Thunderbird Lane.
What a name. That sounds.
Whoa, Nelly was his phrase.
That sounds electrifying. 2022, Democratic Congresswoman Karen Bass was the first woman elected mayor of the city of Los Angeles, defeating Rick Caruso. And look at the predictable job she did. As a Democrat, Los Angeles is a shithole. 2022, NASA's Artemis 1 mission, utilizing the Space Launch System, carrying the uncrewed Orion spacecraft on a test mission around the moon and back, launched from Florida. A lot of, SpaceX is just making so many leaps and bounds, and all this crazy. 2022, U.S. Food and Drug Administration gave the first safety approval on lab-grown meat, chicken grown from animal cells made by Upside Foods. That sounds disgusting and horrifying at the same time. 2022 as well, U.S. Republican Party regained control of the House of Representatives by a narrow margin with Kevin McCarthy as leader of the House. All right.
Yeah.
All right. About time.
That's when a few weeks later, Matt Gaetz, who's their nominated for the Attorney General, tried to blow it up and get rid of him.
Yeah.
And he did. He succeeded.
But then McCarthy wasn't he like trying to oust the rhinos? It's like, hey, stop fighting each other. We got to work together,
Well, he's saying that, but he was more of a rhino than a Trump guy.
Well.
Not that he was either.
I don't know about politics, really. I really don't care,
Yeah.
I just want the people to have the voice. That's it.
Yep.
2023, this is the last one. If you want to take this, King, and it'll close us out. Oh, you're muted.
2023 MLB owners unanimously approve Oakland A's proposed move from California to Las Vegas, Nevada. It will become the franchise's 4th home since being established in Philadelphia in 1901.
Wow.
Yep.
You know,
Philadelphia A's.
the only sports team to my knowledge more doorknobbish than that is the Raiders. So,
Right.
Also in Oakland. It's got to be the water up
Oakland,
there, right?
Lily.
Huh.
Oakland, Lily.
Yeah, but they came down here.
yeah.
Get that NoCal team out of here.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh yeah, and then Las Vegas.
Yeah,
Yeah.
now they're Vegas.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
they're building a brand new stadium up there on the Strip.
Ah.
They blew up the Tropicana,
Oh, yeah, that's right.
and they're going to build a big stadium right
Oh,
there.
jeez. Yeah, that's what they need, you know. And that'll conclude the show. Once again, please check the underbar in the description below for any links that you may be interested in, including but not limited to all things Omni Coalition. A lot of history has and continues to happen on a daily basis, so we can only bring you a portion. Please check our sources, in the underbar for more. For your dose of past events daily, we stream every day, or try to, at 11 in the morning Pacific time, 12 noon Mountain, Wind Central.
The one.
Yes.
We'll do.
And 2
One.
p.m. Eastern
I
Standard
love it.
Time, respectively. We
One.
do have other shows, from history to news, movie reactions and reviews, gaming, videos and memes, Omni Kitchen, and everything else in between on Talk Show. Check the underbar. For all of you and all of us, I'm Alexander.
King's Refuge.
Golden Loon.
And UVRU, and I want to give a special shout out to people leaving comments here. RMG Relaunch, aka Killer J, and I gotta start working on things. I gotta add his YouTube and stuff into our formats for the
Absolutely.
underbar, so that way people watching this will see his stuff
Yeah,
as well.
get some
Connection,
Yeah, Yep.
Yeah, but until you guys catch us next time, whenever that is, wherever that is, don't forget to look right and left at every intersection, rate 5 thumbs, and subscribe. Toodles!
Toodles.